Hi guys, today we've got the pleasure of taking a look at the much anticipated GIGABYTE GTX 680 Super Overclock. Now the 680 is of course Nvidia's fastest single GPU on the market, aka GK104, its Kepler architecture and 28 nanometers. Now this is GIGABYTE's first implementation of their new concept, Windforce X5, and we've seen Windforce X3, which is of course free fans, and it's proven to be very popular sort of pursuit for GIGABYTE to take. It's been successful with reviewers and also general consumers. In fact, I've actually got one in my personal rig. I've got the GTX 680 OC, which is Windforce free, and it is, you know, really quiet, really cool, and very nice card indeed. So what is Windforce X5? Well, it's 5 smaller fans and a large vapor chamber. And this introduces what GIGABYTE term anti-turbulence cooling. And as well as a new cooler, we've also got ultra-durable components which give better overclocking and better thermal performance. The ultra-durable feature set is very extensive, and it's something that we'll go into as we go into the video. So with that brief overview of the card complete now, we're going to take a look at the card itself. We're going to go into the box, have a look at the card, take off the cooler, show you what that's about, and then get it up and running. Okay guys, so to start with, we'll take a look at the packaging. Here you can see we've got the branding for GIGABYTE, and we've also got the classification of the card, which is the SuperOverclock. And in the corner there we've got the GPU, which is the GTX 680, and we've got the RAM, which is 2 GB of GDDR5. Included with this we've got OC Guru 2, which is the optimization software for tweaking. And we've also got the Windforce anti-turbulence with that Windforce X5. Spinning the box over then, and we've got a good breakdown of all the different features. So for Windforce X5, it goes into the details for the different elements. So we've got the copper heat pipes, we've got the vapor chamber, and also those fans there. And then we've got the ultra durable components and all the feature set there. The prodlizers, we've got copper PCB, and Japanese solid caps, loads of different features included with that, so that's good to see that there's so much quality put into the actual card, the construction of it. Up in the corner we've got the OC Guru 2, which is the software included with this, and we can do various overclocking and different things like that. And then we've got GPU Gauntlet, which is the cherry picking of this card, so it's optimized for the best performance. So we'll go into the box now anyway, because this is what we're here for. Perhaps the packaging really isn't going to be something that interests most people. So here we've got another box within that box. And then opening this out, we've got the card and the accessories. Now in this little section here, you can see it opens and there's actually nothing in there. Well, this is a review sample, so we don't actually have any of the bundled accessories or the software CD. But with the retail version, you will get those bundled extras, adapters, and also the driver CD. So don't worry about that. You'll also get Guru 2. But I mean, most people would probably divert from that anyway and jump onto the website and get the latest anyway. So in this section here, we've got foam padding just to keep it nice and protected during transit, and then we've got the card inside the anti-static bag. I'm going to take the card out now and have a good look at it. So here's our GTX 680 Super Overclock, and as you can see, an absolute titan of a graphics card. I've got it here compared to the GTX 680 OC, which uses Windforce X3, that notorious cooler which is proved very popular in the market and for the consumer. You can see there the Windforce X5 completely dwarfs it. You can see the full extent, the magnitude of that cooler is an absolute beast. Now compared to the reference Nvidia GTX 680, the SoC has some subtle differences. The total length of the card, the PCB as well, the reference is 10 inches in length, and the SoC is 11.5 inches, so you got approximately 1.5 inches extra to cater for. So if you do go for this card, make sure that you've got a case that will allow for 11.5 inches. The other thing to note is the reference GTX 680 is dual slot, whilst the SoC is triple slot. So you're going to need adequate space for that, and it is approximately 2.5 inches that you do need, both on your motherboard and also for your case, so you need 3 slots available. Looking at the input-output backplate, we have the ventilation and SoC, which has been carved out of the backplate, and then we've got 2 dual-link DVIs. One of those is DVI-I and one is DVI-D, and we've got HDMI, and we've also got DisplayPort. So those in total give you up to 4 monitors and a resolution of 2560 by 1600. As its name suggests, the SuperOverclock has some significant modifications compared to the reference GTX 680. For the base clock on the reference, we've got 1006 MHz, and then for the SoC 1137 MHz. For the boost clock, we have 1058 MHz for the reference, and then 1202 MHz for the SoC. And the memory clock, we have 6004 MHz for the reference, and then 6200 MHz for the SoC. So there's quite a moderate overclock there, but there's actually headroom if you're wanting to boost things and modify things, and you can do that with the OC Guru. Now for the memory, we have 2 GB of GDDR5, which uses the 256 memory bus, and this card is ready for PCI Express 3.0, but obviously if you've not got a motherboard that supports Gen 3 PCI Express 3.0, it is backwards compatible, so you don't need to worry if you don't have one of those boards. Now for the minimum power requirements on the reference GTX 680, we have 550 watts, and the SoC has 650 watts, so an additional 100 watts there. So again, make sure that you've got the adequate power, and you're going to need 2 8-pin power for the PCI Express to make sure that you can power this card. One of the biggest talking points about SoC is undoubtedly going to be the unique design with the implementation of Windforce X5. The heatsink is covered with a black metallic shroud, which has no colour or graphics, but rather it settles with being quite minimalist. In fact, it actually looks quite similar, or it's modelled perhaps on the Batmobile and Stealth Bomber. The rear of SoC features a robust metal backplate, and this brings in additional protection and also helps to keep the PCB rigid and free from flexing. It even has perforated holes to encourage heat dissipation on this rear side. Not only does this bring in the benefits, but it also looks really good too. Right guys, I've taken the cooler off the PCB just to hopefully show more clearly how Windforce X5 works, and we'll also be taking a quick overview of the card just to show the components afterwards. So here is Windforce X5, which is essentially a heatsink with 9 6mm copper heat pipes connected to a large copper chamber and 5 40mm cooling fans. And the way this works is by taking air from the region surrounding the PCI Express slot and through the heatsink, and then finally up and out through the cooling fans. As you can see, the GPU is in direct contact with the copper plate, as well as the VRMs and also the RAM chips. Computer chassis airflow is going to be really important with this, because obviously the heat is just going to be left inside the case. Now this design has been met with skepticism due to the fact that large fans, they're generally able to push air much more efficiently, and they're able to do so in a quieter fashion. But let's not forget, GTX 680 is actually quite an efficient GPU. It runs reasonably cool as well. And a little later I'll be popping this card into the rig just to see how noise levels fare both at idle and load. If we now take a look at the PCB, we can see that the board has been given a nice matte black appearance, and in the centre there we've got GK104, which is a GTX 680 core, and around that GPU we've got the RAM chips, which are Samsung and Hynix branded. Now our board is obviously loaded with the ultra durable components such as the prodlizers, Japanese solid caps, ferrite core and metal chokes, and low RDS on MOSFETs. And these are all there to ensure the utmost durability and stability. We also have this extreme button, and upon pressing this button we can load a preset overclock profile, and we can modify that in the OC Guru software. And just in case you're wondering, this is accessible with the cooler attached. Right guys, I've got the SoC loaded onto the Z77 test bench, and the idea here is I'm going to show you how loud those cooling fans are and hopefully show what you can expect in terms of the temperatures. So I'll take my microphone off, I'm going to clip it to the graphics card. And I'll boot the system up. So this is on entry into the Windows operating system. And I'm just going to load up GPU Z, and this will help us to understand the temperatures and also the fan speed. So you can see there that we've got the fan speed, which is ramping, well, it's adjusting between 2400 and also up to around 2700. So that's 35%, and the GPU temperature is settling at around 33 degrees. Right guys, I've got the 3D Mark 11 bench test running, and we're currently on test 4. We're about 5-10 minutes into the benchmark. This is loading GPU, it's increasing the fan speed. And in a moment we're going to drop out of this and we're going to see what the temperatures and also the fan speed is. Okay, there you can see it. We're up to 4,500 RPM, and the GPU temperature is around the 50 degrees when we exited. So it's quite a high fan speed that I don't know whether you could make out the noise levels there. It is actually quite noisy. Okay guys, well, we've reached the end of our video. We've been taking a look at the new GTX 680 SuperOverclock. Now, I haven't done any benchmarks on this card simply for the reason that I don't take care of the GPUs at Vortex. So Rich is going to be taking this card now. He's going to be doing a comprehensive review on it, looking at all the different benchmarks in a variety of games, different environments, and comparing against both AMD and NVIDIA models. So when that article is up and live, I'll drop the link in the description. So hopefully that's given you a bit of a taste anyway for the card, and you know, just giving you a flavour for how it looks, how it operates, and what you actually get. It's currently available to buy for £560 in the UK, and over in the States you're looking at around $620 US. So, you know, it is quite an investment. But anyway guys, thanks very much for watching. Feel free to drop any comments in the box below, or over on the forums or Facebook. I'll drop those links in the description, and I shall see you soon.